So you've made it through addiction. That is a huge deal. But now what? Life after addiction is a massive turning point. It's like you're starting a brand new chapter. The thing is, this chapter doesn't come with an instruction manual. It really requires a whole new set of tools to build a life that feels strong, steady, and like it's actually yours. Okay, let's get into it.
So, that's the big question, right? What really comes next? When all those old habits are finally gone, what exactly rushes in to fill that space?
Well, the honest answer is a new reality. And a lot of the time, it is intense. The world can suddenly feel like it's in high definition, Like all the colors, the sounds, the emotions, they've all been turned way, way up.
So the very first step in navigating this new landscape is just, to understand it. Just knowing what to expect can be the difference between feeling completely lost and feeling like you're prepared for what's coming. You're probably going to notice some pretty big shifts, and it is so important to know you're not alone in this. Your thoughts might feel sharper because they're not being dulled anymore. Your body is healing, which can mean you feel tired or even achy. And relationships, they're often in a state of change while you rebuild that trust. All that new free time, it can feel amazing and also kind of terrifying. And yeah, old triggers can pop up out of nowhere. The most important thing to get is, all of this is completely normal.
So how do you handle all that? Well, this is where we get to the core of this whole explainer, learning to tame your inner world by building a solid mental toolkit. These are the real practical strategies you can actually use day in and day out.
All right, the first tool in our kit is all about managing those really intense emotions. When a huge wave of feeling just hits you, you need something that works right now, in that exact moment.
Here is a super simple but incredibly powerful technique. It's called box breathing. You can even try it right now. You just inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath for 4, exhale for 4, and then pause for 4. You can do this anywhere, anytime, and nobody even has to know. It's a fantastic way to just reset your nervous system.
Another tool, and this one's a mental one, is just a simple self-reminder. When you are right in the thick of a huge emotional surge, just telling yourself, this feeling will pass, can be a total anchor. It's a reminder that emotions are temporary. They're like clouds passing in the sky. They aren't permanent. Now this really gets to the foundation of long-term stability. See, a strong mindset isn't about being perfect. It's all about shifting your perspective. It's the move from blaming other people to taking responsibility for your own choices. From being scared of change to seeing mistakes as a chance to learn, and from giving up to holding on to hope. It's a good moment to ask yourself, which side of this chart do my thoughts usually fall on?
Okay, building on that idea of mindset, our next tool really focuses on that conversation you're having inside your own head. That inner voice can be your biggest enemy or your most powerful friend.
So what are these harmful thoughts? They're basically just mental habits, patterns of thinking that just make everything harder. Things like that inner critic that's always saying, I always fail, or that catastrophic thinking that's convinced it will all go wrong. The key thing here is that these are not facts. They are just distorted thoughts that have picked up speed over time.
So how do you actually challenge them? Well, it's a 3-step process. First, you have to spot the thought. A sudden nosedive in your mood is usually a pretty good clue. Second, you ask for proof. Is it really 100% true that you always fail? Probably not. Finally, you replace it. You don't have to jump to some fake, super positive thought. Just shift it to something more balanced and, realistic.
Okay, we've talked about some really powerful internal tools. Now, let's shift our focus to the outside, because rebuilding your external world is just as important. This is all about creating an environment that actually helps you and supports your new beginning.
And a massive part of that is learning how to set healthy boundaries. This might be one of the most important skills you can learn to protect your energy and your peace of mind.
So what even are they? Think of them like the rules of engagement for your life. They are the lines you draw to protect your mental and emotional space. This isn't about pushing people away. It's about teaching people how to connect with you in a healthy and respectful way.
And setting one is a pretty clear process. First, you have to decide for yourself what is and isn't okay. Then, you communicate that limit, clearly, but also kindly. And finally, here's the hardest part. You have to enforce it, consistently. This shows that you respect yourself and it teaches others to do the same.
Here's an incredibly practical tool, a trigger plan. Instead of just waiting around and hoping a trigger doesn't derail you, you plan for it.
You figure out a potential trigger, like feeling lonely at night, and then you decide on your safe plan before it happens, like calling a friend you can trust. This little shift takes you from being reactive to being proactive. It puts you back in the driver's seat.
And finally, one of the most stabilizing things you can have in your outer world is a simple, supportive routine. It doesn't need to be super rigid, but having these elements in place can be a real anchor. A regular wake-up time, blocking out your day, planning for that tricky free time, and creating a calm evening routine. It all cuts down on uncertainty and creates a feeling of safety.
So, as we start to bring all of this together, it's really important to see these tools as part of a bigger picture. This isn't about reaching some finish line called recovered. It's about committing to an ongoing journey, a journey of growth.
So let's just do a quick recap of the core toolkit we've put together today. We've got calming techniques for those intense feelings. We've got mindset shifts to build inner strength. We have a strategy for transforming harmful thoughts into more balanced ones. We've got boundaries to protect our peace and routines to give us stability. These are your foundational tools for moving forward with strength.
And I just want to leave you with this final thought. Your life is now an ongoing journey of learning and discovering who you are, free from those old habits. The past doesn't get to define the road ahead. The only question that really matters is, which tool will you start with today?